figuring that out. All right, I'm going to put some numbers here just for start our conversation. These are years old, so years old, under 35 years old. This number here is for 33 to 44, 45 to 54, 4,100. All right, I'm just gonna, I won't even do it. I'm gonna keep putting it up there. And we'll go one more just in case. These are for the customers like Chuck. Any guesses as to what those numbers represent? These are dollars, just so you know, these are dollars. That's a good guess. I mean, that would be really, really sad. Average income nationwide is around like 42 grand or so. I don't know exactly what it is here, but no, this is not income. What are the guesses? And never do what I'm doing to you, to your customers, right? We want to give our customers kind of the answers. We're going to ask them questions, but I want you guys to go. What do you think? You said disposable income? Okay, that's a good guess too. That's not what these numbers represent. This is nationwide averages of people 35 years old or under 35, 35 to 44, blah, blah, blah. This number, what is that number? People. This is from Bankrate, just all people. Nope. Nope. These numbers, and this is as of August 1st from bankrate.com, is what people have in savings. Okay. $8,000 for that age group there, representing the highest amount of average people that how much money they have in savings. 35 to 44, 3,800, 45 to 54, 4,100. The families that we meet with are mixed in all of these areas, but I'd say it's safe to assume that most of them are falling within this area here, 35-ish to 64, and that can go either way, plus or minus, whatever, somewhere around that age range. So at the best, on average, and we're always working with averages, all right, the best on average, you've got about a person that has $5,400 in their savings account. If you look at what people have in their checking account, Mark, do you know how much people have on average in their checking account? On average, and this is, I haven't done this style presentation in probably 2 years, so maybe the number has changed, so I didn't look this one up. But in checking, the average across the nation is less than $1,000, and I think that number is heavily skewed by people who have substantially more than that. I'd say the average is probably more like what Mark said, a few $100 in their checking account. That means, in essence, that most of the people that we get in front of do not have disposable income, to use the word that you had just pointed out. They don't have money just laying around in their savings account that they're going to go throw at windows. How many people have you guys met that have window savings accounts? You two that have been out in the field, how many? Right, 1 to none, maybe. What about you? You've sold windows before. Did you ever, you walk in and people just say, yeah, we have our vacation savings account, we have our college savings account, we have our buying our next investment property account, oh, and we have our window savings account too. All right, nobody has a window savings account. Nobody thinks about buying windows until they think about it for a brief moment, and we have a very brief moment of that pain that we can go in and we can help them make this purchase become something important that they're then willing to buy windows. But since this is what they have and that's what they have, where is all of the other money going? This was $4. It's delicious. I drink one pretty much every day. These are $7. I smoke a pack of these pretty much a day. All right. You spend some money on that. You have clothes on your back, right? That's true. That's cool. We go out and we get drinks. We go out, we buy lunch. We go out, and whenever we get drinks, we probably buy too many and spend too much. Whenever we go out to eat, we end up buying all this other stuff. People will go and they buy makeup at Sephora, or they buy, right? So they go buy makeup at Mac. They do all this stuff. So it's not that they don't have money. It's that people choose to spend their money in certain places. And where they typically like to spend their money is on pleasures. That's why I buy this one here. Mark has a regular coffee that he drinks almost every day. They know you, right? It's pleasurable. We know it's ridiculous. This is probably like a 10,000 times markup on this coffee, but I like it. And so it gives me pleasure. And so I buy it. I also have a Dunkin' Donuts app. The Dunkin' Donuts is right down the street from my house. And so in my app, I put in my order, and whenever I walk in, it's sitting right there. And Allie, the girl that works there that takes care of me, you guys actually met her on, yeah, I was doing the meeting and I'm walking in. I was like, hey, say hi to Allie. I don't know if you were in that one, but say hi to Allie. Allie's always there. She's very kind, pleasurable. She's happy to see me. She knows me by name, all that stuff. So that purchase for me is very pleasurable. And so I'm willing to spend some money there. Now, if you're going to get me, because I don't have money in the bank sitting around for windows, I don't have money sitting in my checking account waiting to buy windows. Okay. I've already got a car payment, which actually isn't true anymore, but whatever. I've got a car payment. I've got a rent payment. I've got alimony. I've got child support, right? I've got buying myself my clothes. I've got buying my Dunkin' Donuts. I've got all of these other payments and things that are taking away. And for most of them, taking away from my income or my reservoir of money, whatever, most Americans are living check to check because of all of these other little things. That's why they're not able to build up this savings account. That's why so many of them aren't able to invest or do any of these other things that would be very beneficial to how they manage their money. But it's really because we only have a core amount of needs, which are your rent, your transportation, your food, your clothing, a certain amount of entertainment or whatever. Hopefully some of that includes some gift giving, taking care of people that you love or people that are around you, all that kind of stuff. Those are your basic needs, and those are the basic needs that Americans have and that the people that we meet have. All of us have those basic needs. But the majority of the money, this is what your basic needs would represent as far as how much money you're spending in it. But the reality is that whenever you start looking at how people manage their finances, this is what their needs are made up of and how much they spend in there. But then whenever you look at their wants, these pleasures, these coffees, my smokes, you're going out with friends, you're traveling on this trip or that trip or whatever it is, all of that falls into this category here. So when we talk about the fact that people don't have a lot of money in their savings, they don't have a lot in their checking account, that does not mean that they don't have the ability to buy from us, because whenever you just look at their needs, they have plenty of money left over because they're over here spending it on all of these wants. And so what we end up having to do, first and foremost, which is why we talk about this a lot, is turn windows into a want, right? We've got to turn windows into a want. So if we turn windows into a want, even if they are check to check, they can start diverting some of this that's in these other wants over to getting windows. Okay? Does that all make sense? Any counterpoints, arguments? I'm not up here lying. Okay. So now what we have to figure out, we're always working on helping them get to a place where they want to buy windows. That's core in our whole process. We're not going to focus on that right now. I have to assume, because we're going to talk about the money, I have to assume that you guys are doing that. You're following the process. You're connecting with people. You're getting rapport. You're getting them to like you. You're getting them to trust you, and you're truly there to provide a service to them. Get in their face and serve the shit out of them. Okay. So if you do that, people will want to work with you. I assume you're doing all of that. Okay. So we're just going to talk about the money portion of it. Now, going back to my Dunkin' Donuts thing, not only is it pleasurable, but remember I pointed out I also have an app for it. It's easy. I have a regular order. I literally just tap like 2 taps and my order is ready in about 7 minutes. I jump out the car, I grab it, I come in. It's also easy. Do you think that even if a person has, let's say, 30,000 in their savings, 50,000 in their savings, do you think that it's, even if we make them want windows, that it is easy and pleasurable for them to go and take from that $50,000 pile of cash to go spend it 8,000 even on windows? Why are you shaking your head so feverishly? Speak up for me.
If I have something, or I have money and want something, I have a hard time buying it for myself. I go to the store and I'm like, no. Even if I have the money, if there's plenty of things there, I have a hard time pulling the trigger unless I have somebody that gives me that push of.
Keep going.
That push that I need to justify it in my head. So typically won't buy it.
Yeah. Last time we had a similar conversation, I ended up writing right here on the board, a good salesman. I'm hearing you say that again. You need to have a good salesman in front of you. That's because we as humans, our nature is to hold on to something that we have. If you know, there's a classic analogy or whatever example that if somebody were to just try and take $1,000 out of your pocket, or you never had the $1,000, it is so much more painful to have them take it from you than to have never had it. It's just how our brains work. So there's a sense of loss that's associated with this person. How do people end up getting $50,000 in their savings account? How do they get there? That's definitely a piece of it. We'd have to define exactly what being smart with it means, which is kind of what I'm asking. So a little bit at a time, they're putting money into it, saving for a long time, making good money and feeding that account or whatever. Both of the answers are right, but ultimately you get that in there. If we really just try to make it simple, you get that by not spending it. Right? So they got this money by not spending it. So sometimes I think as sales reps, we can get all excited whenever we find out that somebody has some money. But the reason a lot of people have some money is because they didn't spend that money. That's why they have that money. And so we don't need to get excited if somebody has said that they have, you know, $10,000 set aside for something or whatever, because the reason that money typically is there is because they haven't spent it. And again, that's because it's painful. It's a sense of loss that they're experiencing whenever whenever something is being taken from them, unless there is a mutually beneficial exchange happening, to where now what I am going to get in exchange for giving up this money, that's a little bit painful for me to give up, what I'm going to get in return is worth more than what I'm giving you. That's what I'm getting back, sorry. Well, you know what I'm trying to say, all right? So that's what really has to happen. Whenever we talk about putting on a $50,000 presentation, if you've got a $30,000 project to sell, that's because they have to have this sense that, hey, if I'm gonna spend 30 grand on this, I'm getting so much more than that back. Otherwise, we never make the exchange. You never buy something if you don't get that sense. Sometimes people call it a good deal. I don't like the words good deal. All right, deals, to me, it's cheesy, it's fake, it's salesy. It's not, oh, you know, we got the best deals going right now. That's weak. That's not what it is. What it really boils down to is we have made whatever it is that they are going to receive from us far more pleasurable, much more valuable to them than the money that they have to exchange with us. So that all ties back into your entire presentation, getting to know them trusting you, liking you, all of that stuff that we just said. I talked a little bit about making it easy because, see, there's pain associated with giving up money, no matter how much value there is. You said whenever you even want it, you need a good salesman to help you part with the money, right? There is always going to be some pain because there is a sense of loss that's associated with it. And so with that being the case, the next thing we have to do after we've made them want the windows, after they trust you, After we've made it pleasurable, and what I mean by that is future pacing them, so they know it's going to be a pleasure to work with us, that we're going to do the install correctly, that we're going to have customer service in place. You guys heard Mark just say it right now. We just hired 2 new people to go in and advocate for our customers, right? We've shown them this is going to be pleasurable. You're not going to have to deal with the heat. You're not going to have to replace your AC unit any sooner than, you know, its life expectancy because it's not getting its butt kicked by the windows. Whatever all that conversation is, we've made it kind of pleasurable, but they still have that resistance. They still have that resistance because of the pain of that sense of loss, of losing that money that they have. So what we have to do is ease that, not just by making the value that they get that much greater, but we have to ease that pain, make it feel a little less painful so that they can really take advantage of the pleasure and the value that they've now learned and perceived from our offering. Easiest way to do that, as you guys well know, this is where I was headed, was with payments. Somebody jumped in, Nick did. All right, so payments are going to be key. Everything, Nick, I'm going to put you on mute for now. Give me a wave if no, I'll leave you. It's not as loud as it started out to be, so we're good. Maybe you put yourself on mute, and then if you have something to say, jump in, please.
Okay.
I don't like speaking in absolutes, but I'm going to speak in an absolute right now. Everything is on payments. Everything's on payments. And especially now, people are becoming even more and more accustomed to payments than they used to be. You know, Netflix, boom, subscribe. I mean, it's become so popular that people have subscriptions, right? That now there's apps out there that will track all of your subscriptions because people just forget about what they have payments for. All right, so payments are everywhere. You pay for your car with a payment, you pay for your house with a payment. I don't need to rattle this off. You guys know that. Everything is available on a payment pretty much. Now, windows are not the sexiest of purchases. I've heard lots of people say that. It's kind of true, but we can make them want windows. But them parting with their hard-earned cash is very difficult. And the fact that so many of our customers here in this office buy on cash doesn't mean that they were cash buyers. It means that we need to do a better job of selling them payments. That's what it ultimately means. It is not because we are somehow finding everybody that goes against everything that I just taught you guys. We're not finding those people. Those people don't exist. What's happening is we've created enough want that they want it. We've created enough pleasure, but we didn't get them as much pleasure. We didn't serve them fully, meaning we only sold them 3 windows. We only sold them a door. We only did all of that. And that only helps in that one little spot. You're still bleeding everywhere else. You've got windows all over the house. You've got doors all over the house, and you're still bleeding everywhere. So it's like this sinking ship, and we plug one hole because well, we talked them into plugging that one hole because they were willing to spend $8,000 on it because whatever, they had the cash available to do it. But if we could really help them understand the value of buying this project and this service with payments, we could really serve them so much more. And it's not just about you guys getting a bigger commission. It's not just about a bigger job size. Get in their face and serve the shit out of them. If you go and you have the approach to truly serve people, we do them a much greater service the more that they buy. We really do. I mean, I've seen reps where, you know, somebody's got a bedroom here and they got a patio door here, master, let's just say. They don't like the patio door. And then here, I'll even draw it like that. They got the patio door. And then over here, they've got windows, and they only sell them the patio door, or they only sell them this one of the street facing windows or whatever, because the people just weren't willing to spend enough here. Well, they're still going to be super hot in their room. All of the promises that you made after you showed them the heat lamp, isn't that the type of performance that you would want to have in your home? Yes. Well, then we need to really find a way to come together on this project so that we can take it off your plate, put it onto mine, right? None of that shit ends up being true if you didn't wrap up that whole envelope, get the whole thing taken care of, because they're bleeding everywhere. But because we may or may not be, and I would say that we most often are not, helping make this project easy with payments, the customer doesn't get the full benefit. They don't get the full benefit. So let's talk about selling payments. I'm excited about the programs that